Hey everybody, and welcome to Friday Musings. So this is going to be my opportunity to say hey to you and to share some stuff with you, my thoughts for the week, or a deep dive into a subject to do with the All Woman brand. So just to share with you the sort of the cornerstones and the framework of the All Woman brand is mindset, emotions, energetics, and connection. And those things apply to everything that we do. So today I just wanted to dive in and talk about what is mindset. So when you look up mindset, it just says the established set of attitudes held by somebody. So in a word, that's like a mental inclination or a disposition or a frame of mind. So your mindset is just a collection of thoughts and beliefs that shape your thought habits. And your thought habits affect how you think, obviously. How you think affects how you feel, and how you think and feel affects how you behave. So your mindset impacts how you make sense of the world and how you make sense of yourself. So when I started my first business, I very, very quickly realized that it was actually nothing to do with the opportunity, because everybody got given the same one. Yet when I looked around, I noticed some people flew and thrived, and some people didn't. Some people didn't even get started. In fact, I think the percentage of people that actually made it past I think it was 95% of people wouldn't make it past the first 3 months. The first 3 months. So that fascinated me, and I got really, really interested in, so what does it actually take to become successful? If everyone's given the same opportunity and everyone's been given the same product and everyone's been given the same training, then why does this person thrive and why does this person not? And what I started to recognize is that when I was sat in the audience at events, I would notice that the successful people, they had a certain way about them. They had a certain mindset. They had a certain attitude. And that was very much if it's to be, it's up to me attitude. And then I would hear people talking in the corridors, and I would listen to team members, or I would overhear conversations where the people who weren't so successful, and not all the time, but a lot of the time, the general conversation was around about why it wasn't working. They would talk about the product, they would talk about the company, they would talk about the industry, they would talk about their area where they live, they would talk about all the things, all the reasons why they couldn't do it or why they weren't successful. So what I noticed is that there is a very distinct difference in the mindset of the people who are doing well and the people who aren't doing so well. And then I recognized another thing, and I recognize this from my own personal development. So I got to work on my mindset. I read every book going, I listened to every YouTube video going to do with that industry. I mean, God, some of the books I read, probably listened to like 100+ times. And what I recognized is that there was this next level. There was this awareness that, okay, I need a good mindset in order to be successful. I've got to find a way to think differently and therefore feel differently, and therefore it will drive my behavior. But there is this space in there, and I call it passive personal development. So what happens is we read the books, we watch the YouTube videos, we go to the seminars, we listen to the speakers, and we get it. It like sinks in and we go, oh my God, yes, that makes so much sense. And yes. And then we don't do anything. So the awareness is there. And for me, it's almost worse. Like that stage is worse, because you know what to do. You know how to think, you get it, it resonates, like you feel it, but you still don't take action. And that is like torture, because you're like, why am I still not doing it? Why am I not doing it? Like, I know what to do, why am I doing it? And I was in this place for a long time. So I call it passive personal development. So when then I started to look at, well, okay, so if we know what to do and we understand we need a good mindset and we get it, on an intellectual level, we understand it, but we're just still not making the action, then what's that about? And so I started to look into why I wasn't taking action. And I started to look into why people weren't taking action in their business, in my team, for instance. So what we have to look at is like, what affects our mindset? Like what develops it? So the definition is an established set of attitudes held by somebody. So established means that they've been curated and then they've been established. Like, this is how I think, this is how I feel, this is how I see the world, this is how I respond to the world. So it's an established. So if we can establish something, it means that it wasn't there in the first place. It means that it was curated and then established, right? So when I looked at it, I thought, okay, what affects our mindset? Our upbringing, for sure. What was modeled to us as children? The language that was spoken, that we heard a lot around certain subjects. So this is particularly predominant when it comes to wealth and money. If you grew up in a household where no one could, we can't afford it, we can't afford it, we can't afford it. There's not, money doesn't grow on trees. Like, this is very, very relevant when it comes to money. But it also applies to every other thing: relationships, success, health, wellness, all the things. Like, the language that we hear as children, it becomes our truth. So the language that we hear, and the area that we live in, what was the social economic influence of the area that we lived in, our experiences, the things that happened to us personally, we take those experiences and we make them mean something. And the thing is, the complexity of this means that we make it mean based on all the things I've just spoken about. So if something happens to us and that experience, we then interpret that experience to mean what we make it mean because of our upbringing, what's modeled to as children, the language that we listen to, social economic influence, the area that we live in, our friends, everything, because that molds our view of the world. And so as we look through our lens at, and our reality is what we have made it. So when you look at all these things, it's how we interpret the world, and then we take that meaning and we carry it with us. And that meaning that we gave that experience also adds to and compounds the established set of beliefs and thoughts and things and feelings. So changing our mindset, while simple, is that we can always choose to think this way and think this way, is that the work is deeper than that. The work is, okay, this is what was represented to me. This is my narrative. This is my story about the way that I view the world. Can I change it? Well, yes, of course you can. And this is where personal growth and personal development comes in. So one of the cornerstones, like the pillars of the foundations of what I do with my All Woman brand, is we look at your mindset from a really beautiful objective view. Like, let's look at how and why that belief was established. Let's look at what alternative meaning could we give that very circumstance in order to shift your perception of the event. Because particularly in a program I do called Revolution, which is called Revolution Begin Again, it's literally owning your story, going through your story with a fine-tooth comb, and it's astonishing the smallest things that can affect how we think about certain things, the world, people, men, women, everybody in our life, our weight, our health, our career prospects, what's available to us in life. Like, everything comes from that. And if we think about our brain as like the supercomputer, and our beliefs and like the software, and then we have to, all that is producing the action. So in order to become her, in order to move into a new state and have the potential to become or be, do and have anything that you choose, then it has to start here. So what I love to look at is that's one of the things I'm most passionate about. It's one of the things I'm constantly working on myself, because what I found is that whenever there is a new aha, a new realization, you move into a new space, and then that brings new ones. And so the reason my free group is called the Ever Evolving Woman, because this work is ever evolving. It never ends. We just keep doing it and we keep doing it, and we grow with it and we grow with it. And therefore, over time, our view of the world changes. And when our view of the world changes, it gives us the opportunity to have new experiences, feel new things, think new things, be new things. So I'm very passionate about that, as you can tell. And if you want to know more, if you want to come and hang out and talk about this, then I would really encourage you to join my free group, The Ever Evolving Woman. I'd love to see you in there. We have loads of conversations about this, amongst other things. So for the rest of the next few videos I'm going to be sharing with you, I'm going to going deep into the other areas of the All Woman brand that we look at, and I'd love to see you in there. So take care. Bye.